said, all right, everybody, I need you to Pokemon go to the polls. And then everybody in the audience was like,
Did she?
You never saw that?
No. Now you're a progressive, but you're not necessarily a Democrat.
Well,
right? I mean, you're not necessarily like in support of anyone you're not a loyal Democrat.
So I describe myself as populist left. That's how I would describe myself. Populist means, I support the policies that would help ordinary people. And I vote based on the issues. And so if there's a politician that's for the policies I'm for, that's who I'm going to support, and that's who I'm going to argue for. So I'm very, very critical of what we call corporate Democrats, which are Democrats that represent Wall Street and represent Big Pharma and the military-industrial complex and for-profit health insurance companies. And I'm super critical of the Republicans also. So that's why I co-founded a group called Justice Democrats, and the whole idea was to basically do a populist left takeover of the Democratic Party where you get rid of the corporatists in the party and you have people who will represent the working class. And we've been pretty successful so far. There's still 26 Justice Democrats who are in the running, and they can get elected. And here's an amazing fact, there were 4 politicians in the House of Representatives that didn't take any corporate PAC money. There's about to be 40. Wow. And that all happened because of Justice Democrats, Our Revolution, which is Bernie Sanders' group, the PCCC, which is another left-wing organization. And basically what's happening is people on the left who actually care about the substantive issues are standing up and saying, we're not going to take it anymore, and we're tired of being lied to by politicians, and we want people who are going to actually represent us and represent working people.
Yeah. Well, I love that, and I love that approach. And there's so much partisan politics, and there's so many people that are just married to the idea of being connected to the Democrats that they're willing to overlook some really heinous faults.
Any old blue just won't do, as Nina Turner says that, and I love that phrase. Yeah,
that is a great phrase.
Because it's so just hacky and partisan to be like, oh, I'm on your team, so are you going to vote for me? Here, let me do some platitudes and some cliches about how we're stronger together and we're going to break down the barriers. And, it's like, well, I don't overtly hate minorities, so vote for me. It's like, oh, what a low bar. Give people something to vote for.
That's a great point. Yeah, I felt a lot of that during the Hillary Clinton campaign. Everybody was like anything but Trump, so we're going to vote for her. But boy, let's just be honest. If you had a viable candidate, like Tulsi.
That's right, Tulsi Gabbard. Great candidate.
If you had Tulsi Gabbard and she was running for president, and she's also a woman, and she's also left-wing, but
she cares about the issues.
She cares about the issues, and she's earnest.
Yes.
Like when you talk to her, you can tell she just isn't. I mean, she's careful with her words because she's intelligent, not because she's deceptive.
Yeah.
And I would vote for her in a fucking heartbeat.
There you go.
We were just messaging each other. She was messaging me about my Netflix special, and I said, run for president. I want you to run for president.
I mean, that would be wonderful.
She could fucking win, man.
I think she can. But
I think she can win.
I'm slightly butthurt about Tulsi because when I was on your podcast last time, I plugged her talking about how awesome she is. In fact, I think I'm the one who originally showed you who she was, right? Did you know before me in that podcast?
Many people did.
Okay, so you had heard about her. Well, anyway, she comes on the show.
You were definitely one of them, though.
She comes on the show and talks about, new media is awesome, and there's a lot of great new media people out there. She goes, it's Jimmy Dore. And then there's a pause, and then you move on to the next topic. And I'm like, God damn it, Tulsi. I plugged you, plug me.
I forgot, bro.
I know. I'm being incredibly petty, and I don't even really mean what I'm saying because I would still support her as a politician 100%.
But like you mean it, bro.
This is some salt, and it's headed your way, Tulsi.
She'll remember now.
No, but she's great. She's great on the issues, and yeah,
she's a genuine person. That's what I got out of her. Like what I got from talking to her. She's a genuine person. And man, I mean, maybe it's because she's from Hawaii. And it's just a different place. It's like it's just almost like a state that's a small town. I mean, Hawaii is very small.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1 million people in Honolulu, but you get outside of Honolulu, there's only 100,000 on the Big Island.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Maui has, but I think it's only got a couple 100,000.
I've never been to Hawaii before, but
it's fucking great.
It looks like a paradise. I mean,
dude, the best is Lanai. If you want to go somewhere and just chillax, there's a Four Seasons in Lanai. The entire island has 3,000 people living on it.
Oh, wow.
It's great. And you get real island Hawaiians.
Sure.
Like they're not like, if you go to Maui, they're wonderful people, they're great, but they've been groomed. You know what I'm saying? Like people have taught them how to talk like regular white people. Whereas in Lanai, they're just fucking chilled out, man. They have that way of talking. You know, they talk in, you know what pidgin is?
No.
It's a real interesting sort of I guess it's like a dialect of English, you would call it. But they have really cool expressions. Like if they say a lot of things, it would be choke. Like if you talk about like what a guy was explaining to me how many deer there were in this one place. He goes, "Oh, it's a choke deer." There was choke deer.
So it's kind of like a broken English with different words sprinkled in?
Yeah,
that's
they
interesting.
use different words for different things. You'd have to be around them all the time. But there's also like just a way of talking that's like very, very interesting.
That's kind of like, I think it's called Padua, maybe it's called. I think it's people who are Jamaican who speak in English, but it's very broken English.
Yeah, probably real similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love to say bomba clot.
What does that mean?
Blood clot, I think.
Bomba clot?
I think that's what it means, right? Blood clot?
Does
I know
it?
they also say blood clot.
They say blood clot a lot?
I think so, yeah.
That should come up very rarely.
Well,
Blood clots?
I mean,
unless you're a doctor.
I guess it's a way of saying stuff, you know, something's terrible.
It means motherfucker or
douchebag. That's what bomba clot means?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You're
was
so
not even
white.
close.
You're the whitest guy that's ever been in this room.
I guess the technical
I think it's,
meaning would be blood clot.
it's basically
blood
like a
clots,
blood
yes.
clot.
It's a medical term.
They're basically talking about sutures.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but that flight to Hawaii must be...
It's not bad. It's 5 hours.
Oh, from here it's 5 hours. I'm coming
yes.
from New York, dude.
You fly here, you hang out for a couple of days, and you fly there.
I gotta interject again.
What?
The top definition on Urban Dictionary says it's a cloth or rag used to wipe one's anal region.
Oh, obviously. That was my second guess.
That'd be the bumba, like a bumba cloth.
So a
without an
bumba
H.
clot was
Like a
like
bum
some
cloth.
asshole who's wiping his ass. You're the cloth.
Yeah.
Like
But
you're calling someone a douchebag.
This
You're
is
the
like,
cloth that
they
wipes
use
the
it
butt.
as a word to replace like fuck or
Yeah.
maybe asshole or
Yeah.
something like that.
He's an ass wipe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? That's mean that you.
It's awesome. I
people
love
call
that
people
phrase.
ass wipes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one in a while. When was the last time you heard an ass wipe?
Butt wipe.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Butt wipe. When was the last time? That's like Beavis and Butthead
Yeah.
days.
You're such a butt wipe.
Butt wipe. Yeah. Anyway, you're white.
Yes, very much so. That's clear. People can see that.
When you look at the potential candidates for 2020,
Yep.
who on the left stands out? There's Gavin Newsom. Is he going to run?
He's just he comes across as a little too politician-y and smarmy. That's how he strikes me.
To you don't like him.
No, I mean,
who-
I'm sure if I had a conversation with him and we spoke about the issues, I would agree with him on most of the positions, but I don't know if he really believes it and means it because he's a politician.
Right.
There
He's
are politicians.
a real politician.
Yes, there are politicians who I talk to and I know that they mean it. Tulsi Gabbard would be one of those. Ro Khanna would be another one of those. We spoke about him on the show last time I was here. Obviously, Bernie Sanders is another one of those. You know, there's a really interesting politician coming out of West Virginia now. I don't know if you heard about this guy. His name is Richard Ojeda, and he's running against a Republican named Carol Miller. Get this. He's running in West Virginia is super deep red, like big time Republican, almost the most Republican. It's tied probably with Mississippi as the most conservative area in the country. So this district, Trump won by 49 points. There's this Democrat, Richard Ojeda, running. He's up in a poll against a Republican by 5 points. So you're probably thinking, how the hell in a district like that can a Democrat be leading? And the answer is very simple. He's populist and he's fighting for working people. And he's run these amazing ads where he literally gave out his phone number in one of the ads and said, listen, if you're a constituent of mine and you have an issue, call me. And I'll tell you what, if a lobbyist tries to come into my office, I'm going to kick him out. I don't want you in my office. I don't care about lobbyists. I care about the people. And he's running on all substantive issues. He's taking no corporate PAC money. He's for Medicare for all. So this is a guy who, and by the way, he's a veteran in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he did vote for Trump. And now he's one of Trump's harshest critics. And he said, listen, man, I thought Trump was going to be potentially good for working people, but it just turns out he wasn't good for working people. So, for example, Trump ran as an anti-outsourcing president. He was against NAFTA and TPP and all that stuff. In Trump's first year as president, there were 93,000 jobs that were outsourced. That's even worse than Obama. Obama had 87,000 jobs outsourced. So when you go through his record with a fine-tooth comb, even like the unemployment rate being low, that's totally misleading because wages are falling. So if wages are falling, then you can't just brag about your economy being wonderful. And his tax bill, 83% of the benefits of the tax bill went to the top 1%.
When you